I don't know how many of you expected this, but PLE was the classic recipe for disaster. It's the project that taught me I'm not cut for being in charge of others, a lesson that I will forget again in 2017 and 2019. The build we're about to uncover is the most recent version of PLE, although I'm pretty sure something got lost along the way. Let's launch it and see what happens. The game has some Italian lines, so I will translate them with text from now on. A bare-bone room select screen. I think an area is missing too. Long time no see. Okay, that arrow needs to go. I don't remember this place being like this. It's darker in my memories. The models and textures you're seeing were all made by Bellini Virgil. Footstep sound is not working. Oh no, it begins. Be ready, for it will happen again. Wow, you can open and close this. It's better than Lala. This will happen a lot. I'm trying to interact with it, but there's no response. Or is it? I'm kinda afraid to interact with those, expecting a game crash. I'm sure the same will happen by interacting with the computer. Ah, come on. Let's try again. Okay, this one still works. The others do not. I'll save you the hassle of seeing the other ones crashing the game. I remember that upon entering a color-coded room, the game will send me to another area. It's not working though. I'm pretty sure that the teleporting room was the white door one, but interacting with it crashes the game. This is no darkness. This is a black wall. Okay, we're done with this room. Let's jump to offices. This passage was meant to be hidden, like there had to be a wall in the same fashion as room began from I'm scared. Now, how would you guess the position of that hidden key? Well, via this. Stupid, I know. Time to see something familiar. Told ya. Okay, but first I need to fix the mouse pointer, which is not showing in that room. Okay, where were we? Ah yes, PLE simulator, before it became Discomfort's Game Boy game. I think there's no need to translate anything. Every line is the same in Discomfort. I always liked the idea of having games inside of games. Also, I'm a big fan of point-and-click room escape games. Played a lot of these while growing up. Escape the Crimson Room, Viridian Room. I also loved games like X-Martis and NFH Propaganda, which I homaged with Mirror Layer's Homnim social network. Small fact, if you click on the hanged lady, the game still says "this door annoys me", like she's not there. While it may be a result of PLE not being finished, I left it just like that when I ported this minigame to Discomfort. This was a deliberate choice. The fact that the player can see something eerie and the game does not acknowledge it is the kind of thing that I love. It may sound silly to some, but I know that there is someone out there fearing the very same things I fear. Solving the minigame would have unlocked the hidden path, which wasn't blocked in the first place because who knows why. Does this have an end? Okay, it does. And that was me losing 10 HP. 2023 Ivan jump scaring me through time. Priceless. Okay, let's keep moving. I wanna see what the hotel has in store for us. I'll take the chance to talk about how PLE was meant to be structured. PLE went through a lot of changes. In the beginning, the game was called Weird Life Experience. It was a solo project, just like the other games I made up to that point. At the time, I wasn't able to make 3D models by myself, and that's why I asked Bellini Virgil to make it with me. The game name was then changed to Peculiar Life Experience. I preferred weird over peculiar, although WLE made it sound like a wrestling thing. That's why we changed it. We'll talk later about what WLE was meant to be. Let's focus on this iteration for now. The house you've seen before was meant to be a hub. After receiving a mysterious phone call, some doors would have got the color treatment and would function as portals to different areas. There would have been 4 outside areas accessible through the hub world, called Catalyst Area. Only God knows what we meant with Catalyst Area. One thing's for sure though, as the silly youngsters we were, we ended up fighting a lot while developing. It's a shame, really. all of this is really 2013 flavored. It's a good memory. I tried to interact with the wall expecting a secret door, but the game crashed. Again, it will do that a lot. I remember myself being so happy with this panel falling to the floor. To put it in perspective, the only 3D game I made back then had doors that just disappeared upon inspecting. I know it sounds stupid, but I had just started making games. So, this section has us roaming from room to room in search of buttons to press. Kinda boring. I probably thought it was cooler while drawing this map. Maybe I just thought I would enrich every room aesthetically at one point. Okay, so, how do I progress now? I know for sure that there's still something to see, but I think that my memories of how to do it are wrong and kinda getting in the way of progress. Nah, I'll cheat. First of all, there were no secret rooms. I started checking which buttons open which doors. This is a mess. I mean, all of my projects are a mess, but this is a 2013 mess, so it's worse. I remember that you could close the gap in that last room's floor by using the metal plate that fell off. Wait. The friggin' broom at the start. I hate myself. Ladies and gentlemen, your beloved obtuse developer. Now, let's see which door has opened. Ooh, trailer time. Bye, Odie! As you've seen, the trailer was just a sound mockup. Disappointing, I know. This is the gap I remembered. Given that hole in the wall, though, we won't be directly walking on the metal plate to cross the gap. Such an unfinished mess. The long walk back is a good opportunity to talk about Odette, the monster you've seen before. Back then, I wanted to make a monster based on the Black Swan. I'm pretty sure there would have been an ideal counterpart, but we didn't get that far in development. Odette was a monster you would have encountered in every outside area, the weird realms connected to the Catalyst one. She was, in fact, your typical recurring entity. You had to run away or hide from her. There wasn't much established, to be honest. She was an entity bound to the aforementioned Catalyst area, and would have always appeared in scripted events. There she is. This was meant to be a statue on a rotating pedestal. I genuinely don't know what purpose this cage would have served. I also don't know why she's textured this way in her statue form. As all the 3D models you've seen up to this point, this one was also made by Virgil. Her 3D design was also kinda different from the one I had envisioned in my drawings. I don't remember if this design change was something we both wanted, or if it was Virgil's own idea. Her head is far more interesting this way. The only thing I remember is that I purposefully asked Virgil to make her model split in parts, so that I could make her move in weird ways. And with that last button press, let's end the boring hotel exploration. Such an anticlimactic end. Next one is Hotel Rooftop. This is minuscule. Up to this point, the walls and floors textures were made by me. In fact, they kinda remind me of I'm Scared. I don't know why, but this place smells of boss fight. Who knows what its purpose was? I think this was the last thing I did before canning the project. Next one was totally designed by Virgil. It's the Salt Cave. I loved this place back then. It comes with a bad memory though. This is a screenshot took back then. 3D people already know what's wrong with this picture. But we didn't. Virgil told me it was a problem with GameMaker, so I spent days trying to fix this mess. It was a UV map problem, and I was so angry at him. The poor guy had to make all these models in GM Model Creator though, so I really can't blame him for that. We were young and naive. It's sad to think that the project died because of things like this. But enough with sad memories, let's get back to the game. The 3D complexity of this area puts I'm Scared to shame. This branch always reminded me of the nefarious fake split road in Silent Hill. I think it was inspired by it. This clock was part of a puzzle designed by Virgil. Too bad I don't remember how it was meant to play out. After solving that puzzle, you would get access to the next room, which had another puzzle involving rails and minecarts. Since this was all designed by Virgil, I don't know how these placeholder statues would have been in a final version. Weird. I remember these rails to be more detailed. And this is where our tour ends. Next up is Pathway. This map would have been the start of the game. It was meant to be a dream sequence. There's not much to be seen though. Aside from the house and the offices, this project is all a big placeholder. It's crazy to think that we were sure to be making a great game. I learned a lot from this failure. Oh look, it's chess too! It's not, of course. This place too was designed by Virgil. And what's that? Random props, okay. Last room is debug. It's just some chairs, really. And this is where our exploration ends, right? I mean, we could spend some time digging through the project files, but it's not that interesting really. Maps are fun though. This last map was the final level of the game. It never reached production phase. So, we're done. But I'm a liar. This is another version of the project. Who knows why the thing is split in two? Let's see what it has to offer. The house, the office and the hotel maps of the previous project were modular, just like old I'm Scared maps. This one is a full model made by Virgil. I totally forgot about this. I'm sure you'll like the next one. It's another iteration of the office map. Looks familiar, doesn't it? This project is probably the last thing I did with PLE. I generally don't like wasting assets I made, and I really like these textures. After canning PLE, they inspired me to make our beloved Workshop Edition. And now, for some fancies. First of all, this is no office key. Lastly, speaking of not wasting stuff, hey discomfort pickup screen. I genuinely don't know if this project comes before or after the other one. I'd say the former, but the presence of a full modeled house map confuses me. Still, the minigame doesn't open the wall like in my memories. At least, not graphically. Again, another model map. I think this was our last attempt at making the game. Same goes for the hotel map. I think this is Odette's corridor. I'll speed up the visit since there's nothing interesting to see. Next one is cool though. This is the Salt Cape, correctly textured. I think I made these textures based on what I found in the project, but I might be wrong. Chaos ensues again. This model is lacking some details found in the other Salt Cape model. Nonetheless, UV map looks better. And that's not all. While the model is clearly incomplete, the rail system is modeled and textured. This doesn't make any sense. Pathway is listed as whip. Pure chaos. Also, debug is not a room with 2 chairs in this project. Nothing else to see. Hey, it's Berry here! As I was saying earlier, I think I may have made those Salt Cape textures because I made all these sheets for Virgil to use in the map models. But you know what? We're not done yet. The peculiar life experience that I remember is not this one. The PLE you've seen until now talked about a morally ambiguous organization, one which will test you for reasons you couldn't even grasp. But the game I remember of was called Weird Life Experience. Its idea was much more mundane. A game in which you will fulfill trivial tasks only to get yourself tangled in a bizarre, unexplainable night. And then, after all the unfathomable chaos, the weird night would have ended. You will get back to the world you already know, with no trace of what just happened. No proof to sustain your experience, only the awareness of the weird night you just lived. This is what I remember the most. And to take a look at this, we must disrupt the sleep of Game Maker 8! And to do so, I changed my screen's resolution so that you can get a full screen footage this time. I think this will be the norm for future videos. So let's thank the hour I spent recording unusable footage. Anyway, weird life experience, right? Let's see what this build has in store for us. Daytime. Ugly skybox aside, let me put you in the right perspective. It's a beautiful day, but the sun will set soon. You invited your friends to watch a movie together, so you think of ordering some pizza. I'm sure you could play a platformer on this computer to pass the time, but it doesn't seem so. This place is a rendition of the fourth house I lived in. This was Grandpa's room. I really miss him. And there's some invisible entity that walls me here. Ah, the Dylan Dog throne. Hey, painting lady. Main door's different from the ugly double door we've seen before. Also, hey again, mirror layers. And still, you open the window. Okay, same message from this side too. I suppose we should check for that pizzeria's phone number. I remember of a checklist in this game, like order pizza or set the table. Oh well. Mom's room. Here's the pizzeria pamphlet. I know by memory that our character wants to take a nap. But they want to do all the chores first. So let's help them. No glass? No napkins? Okay. Text is kinda broken, I'll translate by voice. It's late evening, and we're finally enjoying a good movie. Pizza was great, and we're now enjoying our time. In any case, I still feel really sleepy. The coffee I had didn't help much, given how drowsy I feel. Maybe I should go to the bathroom to wash the sleepiness off my face.
Vorrei che in ogni conquista dell'uomo ci fosse da qualche parte il mio nome. Vorrei essere stata quel giorno sulla Luna. Voglio provarci da sola. Voglio altre lune da conquistare.
This is almost the night that I remember, but not quite. Small trivia. The audio you're currently listening to was an old PlayStation 1 spot, which I really loved. Okay, let's wash our face.
Vorrei che in ogni conquista dell'uomo ci fosse da qualche parte il mio nome. Vorrei essere stata quel giorno sulla luna. Voglio provarci da sola. Voglio altre lune da conquistare. E non permetterò a nessuno di farlo al posto mio. Perché ho energie e voglia di sognare. Si chiama ricchezza mentale. Vorrei che in ogni conquista dell'uomo ci fosse da qualche parte il mio nome.
These statue version of our friends are really clumsy, but I loved the idea. Also, this project was probably the bridge between the weird idea and the peculiar one. I say that because of the phone call. And because of the white door, since that is part of the catalyst area thingy. Oh, it's closed. The apartment in front of us disappeared. And what's this?
Perché ho energie e voglia di sognare. Si chiama ricchezza mentale.
And we get teleported to the office. Yeah, I really hope the monitor is enjoying its time. Now look at that! A working secret wall! And it's solid too! No symbols on the ground. But no need for it, since the door is already open. Another round of Game Boy game. This shows how we were already in peculiar idea territory. Huh, the knob doesn't work. It's probably broken or unfinished. How should we progress then? Ah, that's how. No aperture room. I think we're done. This concludes our adventure. But I do remember of a playable platformer minigame. And there it is. There's also some miscellaneous rooms. First of all, let's take a look at them. A classic debug room. As for the other one, it just makes the game crash. Aha! To-do list! I knew it! Looks like I had disabled it. Who knows why? Set the table, order the pizza. Such is the life of the average Italian. But this Italian guy? He made platformers. Starbreeze's ugly cousin, it seems. Scan lines on a computer monitor. No sounds, no music. Yeah, let's put up some music. But hey, there's a game over screen. That's something. Look, there's also another level. What, a third level? Incredible. Oh shit. Dang. I feel like I deserve this. Okay. There's not much left to see. One thing's interesting though. In this project, there's no trace of Odette. Instead, there's an entity called Smile Woman. One of the old documents I found mentions this entity. Before leaping towards the peculiar idea, what we had was more akin to my classic style. Smile Woman would have made brief appearances and worked less like a game monster, in a similar fashion to Whiteface from I'm Scared. She doesn't have a design though. The only thing we can see is that she was meant to be red-toned, which now reminds me of the monsters from Creta and Quiet Manor. The old document talks of how, at the end of the weird experience, we will get to see the protagonist's mother. She would have smiled at us, and only then we would have got the resemblance between her and the monster. Smile Woman was assigned with a mannequin model as a placeholder. As you can see, she spins around like the Odette statue from the newer project. Like a never-ending nightmare though, the old document comes again into play to tell us a new story. This mother figure was briefly switched with a new family member, that is, the protagonist's wife. Bridging the gap between WLE and PLE, I suggested a game in which your beloved one suddenly disappeared, leaving behind a stain on the wall, an outline in her shape. By accessing the color-coded doors, you had to venture through the outside areas to collect body pieces and fill your beloved aforementioned outline. Does it remind you of something? So, we're done, right? Wrong. This is a version older than the other one. There's even less rooms in it. At this point, I don't have much to say. It's just an older version of the project. I really like the grey fog. Woohoo! Looks like the sprint button makes you ascend instead of sprinting. Also, the crouch button makes you fall in hell. Daytime is the same as usual. Weirdly enough, in this older version you could access the platform game. The jump is strong. Okay, this is the night that I remember. Oh, I love this darkness. This is the glimpse I loved so much. I want to make again something that looks like this. Interacting with the tab doesn't show any text. Still, it works as intended. Also, I prefer these poses for the mannequins. I think this is where it ends. Except it does not. This version comes shortly after the previous one. Platform game works as intended. Daytime chores are functioning. Text in between day and night is far more readable. And the night is a mix of the one I really liked and the one that comes after. Still, there's something different. Was that Smile Woman? I also found a fun bug. If you play with the computer in the night map and you press the space key, you get teleported to a night version of daytime. I won't lie, I found it kinda jarring at first. I immediately rationalized it. Exiting the platformer gets you to the day room, and all the light data from night room slips to this one. But even if just for a split second, I felt like all those instances I remembered so well woke up on their own, leaving me all alone in this place, at the mercy of memories or regrets. Okay, enough with the "you thought we were dumb" thingy. This is the last one. Rest assured, I'm far more tired of this than you are. Still, I think it's worth a look just because of 2 or 3 things. People spin! No box in this one. But there's this. Should I collect 25 gems in a platform game? I went through jump hell again for naught. Talk about comic justice. Okay, let's wrap it up. Let's remap all the experience up to this point. In the beginning, I started working solo on Weird Life Experience, a game more complex than I'm scared, aimed to be solved in order to leave the job I had back then. This game will focus on letting you live an ordinary day, which will then become a weird experience. The idea for this one stopped at the friends turn into mannequins thing. I wanted to make it as an anthology series, stuff like "A day to the park goes wrong" or "You fall asleep at work and when you wake up something's changed." A GM project for this idea does not exist, and everything related to it got lost to time. That's when Virgil joined the development. He made the models for the house and we gave shape to that original idea. After doing so, given the mess of a person that I am, I came up with a very different structure that will theoretically appease both of us. Development took a bizarre turn. We both had a lot of ideas and soon turned a simple thing into a big mess. You can see this in all the different iterations of the GM8 projects. Boxes, Smile Woman, Proto-Bury Hair. As I've said at the start of the video, I was not cut for being the head of a group project. To this day, I'm still not. Anyway, once again I rewrite all the story. PLE somehow becomes a tale about a mysterious organization which conducts studies on common people. I come up with Odette, the organization, catalyst areas and such. Both of us are happy with the storyline. You can see this idea shaping in the GMS1 projects. That is, until internal struggle ensues. I decide to halt the project to work on it in a distant future. Then, I suggest Virgil and Revelab to make a game under the name of Goose Entertainment. End of the story. No, it's not! The rabbit hole called PLE held surprises for me too. After all that commotion, I decided to put my faith in Virgil and Revelab to make PLE in Unity. The game would have been more action-oriented while keeping the story of the mysterious organization. We made a design document, my first GDG ever. We started working with a passion, Tits coded as its life was at stake. All the typical limitations of 3D Game Maker were gone. Animated models, cloths, light sources. And then I gave up. This dive has been full of bad memories. Again, I got face to face with my inadequacies. The way I work on my games is fallacious. It's not sustainable for long-term teamwork. I ended up thinking that it's better if I work alone. Still, I think that people can work on themselves. I won't stop trying.
Vorrei che in ogni conquista dell'uomo ci fosse da qualche parte il mio nome. Vorrei essere stata quel giorno sulla Luna. Voglio provarci da sola. Voglio altre lune da conquistare. E non permetterò a nessuno di farlo al posto mio. Perché ho energie e voglia di sognare. Si chiama ricchezza mentale.